Good evening. Those of you online, thank you for joining us this Thursday evening. And my name is Brother Danny Lofton. Again, we thank you for being with us tonight. And if you have your Bibles with you, turn with us to Revelation chapter 6, verses 1 and 2. And we're going to begin our study tonight in what starts the 7-year tribulation. So if you have your Bibles with you, turn with us to Revelation chapter 6, verses 1 and 2. And we hope that you'll be blessed tonight in what we teach, okay? So, tonight, Revelation chapter 6, verses 1 and 2, which we know that this here is the start of the 7-year tribulation. So there are going to be like 4 things we're going to discuss in these 2 verses. So we can understand about the things that are happening and going to happen. So verse 1, which is the first seal. This is John, Apostle John. So now I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures saying with a voice like thunder, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a white horse. He who sat on it had a bow. Very critical. We're going to study that tonight. So he had a bow. And a crown was given to him. That's another one we're going to study. A crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. And we're going to talk about those things tonight, about what these are. So the first thing we see right here in these 2 verses is the rider on the white horse. Who is he?
Satan.
He's Satan. He's the Antichrist. So he's riding a white horse, meaning he comes in peace and he has a solution to every problem. And most people will believe that he is the true Messiah. So he is the rider on the white horse. He comes in peace and he deceives a lot of people. He will deceive many. So the spirit of the Antichrist is already in the works in this world today. I want to say that again. The spirit of the Antichrist is already in the works in this world today. So we know the first one, the rider on the white horse, who is the Antichrist. He's coming in to make peace. So, let's go to Daniel chapter 9, verse 27. Daniel chapter 9, verse 27. And this is also going to tell us who this guy is and what's going on in this chapter 6, verses 1 and 2. So Daniel chapter 9, verse 27 goes like this. Then he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. And we know that week is to be 7 years. But in the middle of the week, he shall bring an end to sacrifice and offering. And on the wing of abominations shall be one who makes desolate, even until the consummation which is determined is poured out on the desolate. So we know, back in Revelation chapter 6, verses 1 and 2, this Antichrist, at this particular time, is performing a 7-year peace covenant with the world, with many. And he's this guy who's got it all figured out. He knows where the people went when they were raptured. He said, let me tell you where they went. They were abducted by aliens and many other sources. This guy has all the answers to all the problems in the world. Well, certainly this guy, if you know he's got all the solutions to the problems of the world, then he's got to be something like a Messiah. He's got to be a godlike figure. And he deceives a lot of people. So number two, we're going to look at what these two verses mean is he's given a crown. So what is this crown? Well, a crown meaning authority over the earth. And we just read Daniel 9, verse 27. You see, that word confirm, which the New King James Version, that's what it shows. I don't know if your Bible shows something different, but mine it shows confirm. So confirm means to strengthen what remains. So there has to be already a covenant in place. Maybe the Abraham Accords that's already in place, or something else. But the point is that this covenant that Daniel 9:27 is referring to, peace with many, has to be already in place. So he can strengthen it, confirm, strengthen this 7-year peace deal when nobody else has been able to do. But he's going to be the one to do it. People are going to fall down to this guy and say, wow, this guy is something. He's done like something nobody else could do, right? So he's done something really amazing. So the point is that this peace covenant, something has to already be in the works. And there is. Whether the Abraham Accords is what he's strengthening, we don't know. Whether there's one already in place. So number 3 we want to talk about tonight is conquering and to conquer. When you see those two words in verse 2, and he went out conquering and to conquer. Conquering means he's taking over the governments of the world, businesses of all the world. But not only that, he's taken over all the people of the world. Meaning he has total control on the earth. Total control. So he's conquering all of these people on the planet. And he's doing a very successful job at doing it, deceiving many people. He has everything at his fingertips.
Are we already gone yet?
Yes. We're worried. Let me back up. Right here at Revelation chapter 6, verses 1 and 2, we're in heaven. We're right there when Jesus opens the first seal. We're right there with him. Why? Because nobody else is found worthy to open it, right? So we're there. So the word conquering means he's conquering everybody over the world, the governments, the businesses, and all the people. He has total control on the earth. But this word conquer, there's another word there. Conquering and to conquer. Conquer means he's pretty much killing a lot of people. When you look up the word conquer, it also means to kill. A lot of people are going to die in this time frame because he's conquering and to conquer. He's taken over governments, everybody in the world, and other people who doesn't submit, they're dying. So there's a lot of things going on in this time frame. And this is the first seal. But I want to read you another one here where he had a bow. Remember when we discussed this a while back? The word bow is very important. The word bow, I want to read this article to you. This comes from the Greek, the word bow. The word bow in Greek means toxon. T-O-X-O-N. Toxon. Then when you go back to English, you get toxin. T-O-X-I-N. There's another word, toxic. T-O-X-I-C. What do those mean? Chemicals. Toxins are chemicals. So the word toxin comes from the Greek word toxon, meaning the word bow, B-O-W. Exactly what we see here in Revelation chapter 6, verses 2. The word bow means toxon. And it's pertaining to archery. This is because the Greeks always dipped their arrowheads in poison whenever they went to war. Such strong was the association that toxon became toxin. So what we're seeing here is the Antichrist has a bow. So at the end of this arrow that he has with that bow, there is an arrow with that bow. He's got poison on the end of it. And he's poisoning a lot of people. This is how he's conquered a lot of people because they're being poisoned. And this is very critical to understand because we're seeing this today. So the Antichrist is immediately starting to conquer and kill people on the earth. And the tribulation had just begun. Which we know as of today, and we've talked about this, Pastor John and I have talked about this, is what the globalists is calling the depopulation agenda. Depopulation agenda. The Antichrist, people right now are getting this global depopulation agenda set up right now. Right now. Which the globalists are also calling it, we talked about this too, the Agenda 2030. Agenda 2030. They're expecting all of this to come about. And they're going to execute their plan in 2030 online. Remember that. They also call this the Great Reset. The Great Reset. Notice that word great? That word great means global. The whole world. And they're not hiding this anymore. They're telling us what they're doing. Because they don't care anymore. They know it's got to happen. They think it's got to happen. Satan has trained their minds and thoughts. They're going to spend all of their money in gathering this information, this technology, data centers, all of these, all the above, to be up and running in 2030. And it begs the question, online, will Jesus allow this to happen in 2030? Well, let's answer it this way. Is not Jesus allowing all this to be played out and invented right now? It's all coming together right now. He's allowing that. So wouldn't it stand to reason that he's going to allow it to happen in 2030? Think about that. He's allowing all this to come together. I mean, we got so many governments and companies that's invested in this. They're spending unheard of total amount of money in all of this. And they're building it. So it would stand to reason if the Lord is allowing them to build this to get it ready, then there's a very big chance this will happen in 2030. The world as we know it could very well change in 2030. And we're studying about it. Isn't that amazing? This is what Jesus has given us. He gave us the future. We already know the future online because of Jesus. That's amazing. So they are setting everything up for the Antichrist. So he has to do, all he has to do is execute Satan's plan which is included in Daniel 9:27, the 7-year peace covenant with the world. And all people will be at his disposal, and even murder millions of people on the planet using his bow, which is Greek toxon, English toxin, toxic, chemicals, medication. And he's using these from the sea, from the air, from the land, from the food, and eventually people's health. This is happening already. So the COVID-19 genocide of 2020, I want to introduce you again to this. We watched some of her video before. But Claire Edwards, she is a whistleblower. She was an editor from the UN. Those of you online, look up Claire Edwards, the COVID-19 genocide of 2020. She turned whistleblower, who is a former UN staff member who did turn whistleblower to warn us about what is really going on. And I'm so glad she did, because there are so many people so deceived over this. This video is dead on with Revelation chapter 6, verses 1 and 2. The word bow, toxin, toxon, toxic, and chemicals, and conquering to conquer. These things are happening, and the tribulation hasn't even begun yet. But we see them setting up right here and right now. So it begs the question. We see the beast kingdom being formed right now. And when the beast system is all set up, ready to go, what else is there besides the Lord throwing this world into the 7-year tribulation? What else is there? The Lord is allowing Satan to build all his weapons to come up against him. We see them all right now. They're building this beast kingdom, beast system, like blinding speed. It's happening every day. And all they talk about is 2030. So we're seeing these things happen. Well, Brother John, before I go to the video, did you want to share yours first?
That's okay. I'll do it next week, Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I'm hoping online you'll be able to see this video. In order to know where we're at in Bible prophecy, I have to take you back to 2020 to know where we come from. And I want to share this video with you. And here's where we are going to slow down. Because when I play this video online too, I want you to watch this video if you're able to, and pay very close attention to what Claire Edwards says. I'm probably going to turn off the lights and see if it helps. But I'm going to show parts of it, and we're going to stop. We're going to talk about it, because this is very critical about what she's talking about. Okay.
Claire Edwards.
Claire Edwards, C-L-A-I-R-E, Edwards, E-D-W-A-R-D-S. Claire Edwards, the COVID-19 genocide of 2020.
This might sound a little crazy, but if you had
to read a quote from Robert F. Kennedy, who said, "Each time a person stands up for an idea or acts to improve the lot of others or strikes out against injustice, he or she sends forth a tiny ripple of hope, and crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, those ripples build a current that can break down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance." So this paper is entitled "The COVID-19 Genocide of 2020. COVID-19 was long pre-planned in documents and simulation exercises emanating from the eugenicist Bill Gates and the Rockefeller Foundation. A platform with 200 detailed levels is provided by the World Economic Forum, led by Klaus Schwab, a technocrat and promoter of transhumanism, in order to provide detailed instructions on how the COVID-19 pandemic is to be used to implement a global monetary reset and digital currency, technocracy and totalitarian government worldwide under the guise of socialism and environmentalism, with China as the model, and enslave humanity through a sinister vaccine conspiracy. Earlier attempts were made to engineer pandemics, but none succeeded. This time, the World Health Organization changed its pandemic criteria in advance so that it could declare a pandemic on...
You see what she's saying there? This time, the World Health Organization, they had to change some things. In a real pandemic, what do you got to change? If it's a real pandemic, it is what it is, right? But they had to change the criteria in advance so it could declare a pandemic on spurious grounds. So even right there, you were like, things doesn't add up.
Spurious grounds. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, a terrorist and accused genocidist, was appointed head of the World Health Organization.
You see this? They appointed a terrorist over the World Health Organization. Why would you do that? Who is running the show here? I thought this was a real pandemic. But yet you go ahead and put terrorists in place of the World Health Organization. Does that make sense? Online? It doesn't make sense. This stuff is being planned out, or was planned out. And this is talking about a totalitarian takeover. This is supposed to be about somebody, COVID-19, right? This is supposed to be about people dying of a virus, a pandemic. But now they're talking about a totalitarian takeover. Why? This is a pandemic, not government control, right? You see, when you start adding these things up, this doesn't make sense at all.
In order to orchestrate the pandemic and facilitate the totalitarian takeover, wireless technology suppresses the immune system.
You see that? We're going to talk about that more. But online, wireless technology suppresses the immune system. And it makes you think you are sick. But you are. You don't feel good, right? But it's not what you think. Wireless technology suppresses the immune system. Very important, very vital.
5G is implicated in COVID-19 through correlations between the locations of the 5G.
You see that? 5G is implicated in COVID-19 through correlations between the locations of the 5G rollout and morbidity and mortality. Are you starting to see a difference here? Is this really about a virus? Or have we been poisoned by something else? 5G, she's going to talk about it, as there's a lot of radiation poisoning coming from 5G. And it means a lot, what I just said. It means a lot.
Rollout and morbidity and mortality, as well as the prior administration of flu vaccinations in Wuhan and Milan. The symptoms of COVID are virtually identical to the symptoms of exposure to electron.
You see that? The symptoms of COVID are virtually identical to the symptoms of exposure to electromagnetic radiation. The exact same thing. Many people have not caught on to that yet. It's very critical to know.
Magnetic radiation. Extensive military research over many decades was kept secret, and regulatory agencies were co-opted in order to prevent the public learning about the extreme dangers of electromagnetic.
They're trying to hide radiation poisoning. The military is trying to hide it. About the extreme dangers of electromagnetic radiation. When you go to a doctor, they have no way to tell that you've been exposed by radiation. They just don't know. They're not taught that.
Magnetic radiation. Doctors receive no training on the risks to health of exposure to electromagnetic radiation, and therefore misdiagnose electromagnetic radiation exposure.
What did she just say? They misdiagnose it, right? Very critical to know that. Very critical. Listen to this.
Symptoms. Hospitals are extensively equipped with 5G, putting patients' lives at risk. 5G serves many purposes. It is a depopulation and military weapon and facilitates the introduction of technocracy and totalitarian control.
What did she just say 5G was about? It's a depopulation. How is 5G? How could something like 5G be a depopulation? It's because it emits so much radiation. They can control how much radiation can go through the 5G cell towers. They can. It is used as a depopulation. You see, we can't only take so much radiation in our body. Radiation will kill us if there's so much emitted into our body. It'll kill us.
Was it coming out of the cell phone too?
Cell phone, microwave, the cell towers, you name it. And they can control it too. Think about the flu season.
Big water down in Mobile.
Yeah. Think about it. They can tell you how many people's going to get the flu every year. Now, how can you do that? Well, this is a depopulation and military weapon and facilitates the introduction of technocracy and totalitarian control, enabling what we see in today, surveillance, facial recognition. What does a flock cameras do? They're going to be able to see everything. You know? This is back in 2020. Does some of it start making sense now? What was happening back then and what we're seeing today? We've been scammed.
By enabling surveillance, facial recognition, 24/7 monitoring of individuals, mind and body control, and
Stop right there. Mind and body control. Did you know that can control us using radio waves? They can control our mind and our body control. You can go online or YouTube and you can find out people who's been dealing with this for quite some time. They can't figure out what's going on with themselves. And it comes to find out that the government has been using these radio waves to control their mind and body control. This is not a joke, folks. They can do it. But they had to get this technology from Satan. Okay? They can control our mind and body if they really want to.
in combination with vaccines and chemtrails containing nanoparticles, the torture or murder of targeted individuals. Electromagnetic radiation can be used to simulate pathogens and overwhelm the immune system.
Again, we're talking about how EMR radiation can overwhelm the immune system. Well, COVID overwhelmed the immune system too, huh? But which one was it? She's warning us, y'all. It wasn't COVID. We're being poisoned by radiation daily. Daily. Listen to this.
And cell phones may be being used to simulate COVID-19 contagion.
That's a big one. The ones on your own line. Cell phones may be used to simulate, wow, COVID-19 contagion. How about that? Among co-workers or family members. You see how deep this really goes? So y'all been watching Anthony Fauci on TV this week, right? Why is he in trouble? Can y'all tell me that? Why is he in trouble? He's supposed to be helping the whole world. Yeah, if he's not guilty of murder, why is he pleading the fifth every question they ask him, huh? Something is off. Don't you see it? He was supposed to be there to help us. Now the truth is coming out. The Lord is allowing the truth to come out. Many people are starting to change their mind about COVID-19 now. We've been scammed. It's not about a virus. It's about being poisoned. You cannot tell the difference between radiation poisoning and some kind of virus.
Among co-workers or family members. 5G has been widely installed terrestrially and in space to target and control population.
What is 5G used for? To control populations. How are they doing that? By turning up the radiation frequency. Anytime they want to, any place they want to, and anybody. Do you realize they could kill us at any given time and we won't know what's happened to us? That is the truth. That is a fact.
The illegal coronavirus measures were used by governments to accelerate the 5G rollout and install 60 gigahertz.
See that? When 5G first came out in Wuhan, China, or let me back up, where COVID came out But the exact time frame online, when they introduced COVID-19 to us in Wuhan, China, there was something else in the background happening at the same time. They turned on the 5G cell towers for the first time, emitting 60 gigahertz. Folks, that's a lot. And they targeted children too. If you go around the country and the world, you know what you're going to see around these schools and hospitals? 5G cell towers. Why? So they can have internet? No. They can target them. Kill them anytime they want to.
Public access points in schools in order to target children. Illegal legislation has been put in place in numerous countries to remove civil liberties, to destroy economies, to close down small and medium-sized businesses, to separate, isolate and terrorize family members, to impoverish people, including by destroying jobs, to remove children from their families, to intern dissenters in concentration camps, to grant immunity to government operatives to commit murder, rape and torture. That's the UK. To use the police, army and mercenaries to control populations, to force vaccinate populations with a non-medical vaccine containing
To force vaccinate populations with a non-medical, hear that? Non-medical vaccine containing population control mechanisms without their informed consent. See, this is why it's so critical that we talk about this. You see, these vaccines aren't finished, y'all. They're not done. There's coming, Bill Gates even tells you, there's coming another time, another pandemic where they're going to push out and roll out some more vaccines. So it's kind of making you aware of what these vaccines are truly about. They're trying to depopulate the earth. And begs the question, how many people died of these vaccines? Well, let me back up. Online. How many people actually died of COVID-19? Do you know? 0. You say, well, I know people who died in their home of COVID-19. You say, well, I know people who died in the hospital of COVID-19. I'm going to tell you something now that we've learned. Chrissy and I, many others have learned. Nobody died of COVID at home, nor did they die of COVID in the hospital. Because Anthony Fauci and Bill Gates, the world leaders, they had 2 type drugs that they gave the patients in the hospital. One of them is remdesivir, and the other one is midazolam. Do you know what these 2 drugs do? It destroys your lungs and your kidneys. And when these people went into the hospital, they gave them remdesivir. In the European countries, they gave them midazolam. And it destroyed their lungs and their kidneys. So what did they have to do? They put them on the air mask.
Intubated.
Yeah. And know what else happened? They died. Nobody died of COVID. That is a very proven fact. They died. The hospitals murdered these people. Every one of them. These hospitals are in very deep trouble. They have blood on their hands just like Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, and the other globalists. This is how bad it is now. And each person came in with COVID. The hospitals received money. Not just hospitals, but clinics, they all received extra money. And the worse the person got, as far as their body, sick, the more money the medical clinic got. And then if a person so-called passed away in the hospital, they got even more money. They were even talking about people having a motorcycle accident, coming in for help. They said he had COVID. You know what? They got money for that. On every case that came in the hospital, in the emergency room, needing help, they used a PCR test, and the PCR test said they had COVID, so they got more money. This is how bad it was back then.
Even Kerry Mullis, the creator of the PCR test, said it doesn't detect it.
They cannot diagnose anything. It's not a diagnostic tool, and they're still using it today. The deception still stands.
Well,
The
they're still
hospital.
saying people have COVID because they
They
told
still-
me I had COVID
They tell a lot of people they have
not
COVID.
too long ago,
That's right.
and it was just like flu symptoms.
Yep.
Did you go to the doctor today and they swab you and then they check?
Yeah.
They put this
And then they
PCR
say,
test.
You got COVID.
Yep, this PCR test. I'm gonna let you watch a video on another Thursday. Dr. Kerry Mullis, he created a PCR test, which means polymerase chain reaction. He created that test, that diagnostic. It's not a diagnostic tool. I'm gonna let you listen to it, but what he says. He hates Anthony Fauci. Go ahead.
Him and Anthony Fauci were not together. They were very disagreeing on it. He was refusing to allow his PCR test to be used, and he just miraculously died before they got to use it.
3 months prior of this COVID-19, Dr. Kerry Mullis passed away mysteriously. And then Dr. Anthony Fauci had free reign with his PCR test. You see, with this PCR test, Dr. Kerry Mullis says you can do a lot of things with this test. A lot of things. That's why he created it. But there's one important thing you cannot do. You can't diagnose anyone with anything with that test. And when you go to the doctor, they're going to test you with that PCR test. I'm not saying you're not sick. Of course not. There is something wrong. But it can't be proven that it's this COVID thing, because it doesn't exist. They have to continue on with the lie. If they stopped right now, Anthony Fauci was to tell the truth in court, what do you think that would do to this whole industry? The COVID-19 pandemic era, all the money people made. What do you think would happen to all that? It would fall apart. They have to continue building a lie upon the lie and upon the lie. There's things wrong with people. But you can't prove that it's COVID, because the test can't tell you that you're sick. This is what we call the Great Deception. Part of it. I'm going to do a few more here. And see, containing population control mechanisms without their informed consent. They didn't tell us what was in these vaccines. Now I want to tell you something real important before I forget. Online, I need to tell you something. Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, and Johnson & Johnson. Those were your 4 main vaccine companies during COVID era. But I want to tell you something. Neither one of them companies created the vaccine. Because you remember they did it in 6 months? Oh, it's a miracle from God, as Brother Franklin Graham said. Folks, they didn't make the vaccine. The government, the military made it. And we're going to go over that. The military made the vaccine, Joe. One company in particular, DARPA. D-A-R-P-A. There's others too. I got so many videos like I said, right now, you may still have questions about COVID, but Lord's will, when we get finished with this, you're gonna question it too. Because you're gonna see the whole outline of what it was truly about. But we're here to tell you the truth. Online, we're here to tell you the truth. Those vaccine companies didn't make COVID-19 vaccine, the mRNA spike protein. They didn't make them. The military did. This is why they, the globalists, refer to this COVID-19 vaccine as a military weapon, a bioweapon. And we're going to show you, coming Thursdays, we're going to show you. We're going to take our time going through all of this. This is the beginning, and we're going to just go slow. You're going to start thinking to yourself about, something's off with this whole thing. Remember now, remember, what makes the deception so great? You got to remember that. Because great means global. Why was it so great? Is there any comments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you look at the information that Danny's giving, you can kind of correlate this COVID-19, which happened throughout the entire world. This is a condition. Everybody was afraid of it. Everybody